Good afternoon, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Your host, Fred Arnold, on the Valley Industry Association Business Spotlight. I'm joined by Denise O'Brien. Denise O'Brien is an expert on public relations and red carpet events. My friend Denise, who's been on many shows before. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
It's
Thank
been a while.
you for the
It's been a
invitation.
couple months, hasn't it?
Yes, I've been around the world since I saw you last.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I'm thinking India.
India.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, it was amazing.
Let's talk about Dome Consulting and how you're able to help people really make their events magnificent.
Magnificent. I love that word, magnificent. That means to magnify, and that's what we do at Dome Entertainment and Consulting, is to help magnify a story. So whether it be a small event that they want to make a big celebration, whether it be their 10-year anniversary or their 20th anniversary, or they just want to tell their story, we do that as expertly as we can by providing all the information that they need, whether it be a red carpet. Some people don't quite understand the purpose of a red carpet or a media wall. Many of my clients don't understand the sponsorship opportunities that come with that and the money. And we try to help our clients make more money. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line.
So at first they're really just celebrating something, but you could turn it into a revenue neutral or revenue event.
Yes. I recently was talking to a friend of mine that said, always decide if you're doing friend-raising or fundraising. And so friend-raising is bringing people together for a celebration, like an anniversary. Fundraising is bringing in the fun part of it and the fun at the same time. So you can definitely do both. It depends on your purpose, and my clients highly decide that at the beginning so that we can determine that. And then throughout the process, sometimes they learn that there's a way that they can make money while they're also celebrating, which is what we try to do.
Now, recently you did an event that was a U.S.-Chinese Business Summit.
Yes.
Tell us about that event.
That was really exciting. That was an opportunity for us at Dome Consulting to really pull all our efforts together to support a large number of CEOs. The American Chinese CEO Society is a group of hundreds of CEOs here in the Los Angeles area that network with CEOs and many professional businesses, or as they call them, enterprises in China. And we bridge that, not really a gap, because China is coming over in full force now, but we help them to understand the possibilities of having a business here in the U.S. and likewise if companies want to bring their businesses to China. So we actually had a summit in addition to their 10-year anniversary celebration, which was a big black tie gala. We were multiplying our efforts with 3 red carpet events simultaneously. So we were at the Arcadia Performing Arts Center. We had a very, very large red carpet there and an opportunity for over 800 attendees from around the world to experience panels of many experts on many different subjects. Yes.
Amazing. Now you wear a lot of hats.
Yes. I wonder why they don't all stack up and look at, yeah, many, many hats.
Yeah. What are you most passionate about?
Oh, wow. That's a really broad question. I'm most passionate about my family and finding events and opportunities for us to do events together. So my children love to perform, and I feel like my biggest task in life is to empower my children to be the best that they can be. Through that, I find opportunities within our community to teach them that, and then on a grand scale globally, I empower others. I especially love empowering women.
So Supermom's #1.
Yeah, Supermom. That's a good title.
And I would say, so coach or enthusiast to empowering women.
Yes, exactly.
Tell me about your joy for that.
Well, the most important part, I feel, especially, for example, with the U.S.-China Business Summit that we just did, when I got involved with that and with the opportunity to be involved with the planning, I found out that they had 15 panelists, and they were all men. And this is the year 2015, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're, more than half the population are women, and yet they were all men on the panel. So what I found was that it was okay for me to speak up and say, hey, you men are all wonderful, but I think we should have some women here on the panel. And it took about 5 months for me to encourage them and
the cultural difference.
It was a big cultural difference. It really was, and I find it difficult in that community, especially. But I did persevere, and we ended up having of the 3 panels of 5. We had 1 woman on each panel.
It's amazing because the amount of wisdom that women have when given the opportunity to the platform to share, not to speak up, but to share, share their experiences, to share their knowledge, share wisdom.
Exactly, and women have a lot of wisdom. I don't know if it comes just from raising our children in the olden days when that's all we did.
Probably does
It's an innate. I think it's an innate quality that women have, but we also can multitask and do other things as well. And I think in some communities, especially after having traveled to other countries, I realized that women really are second-class citizens in many countries.
Yeah, this country's come a long ways with that. We still have some ways to go, but certainly, I think we've embraced that, and I think that's what makes business as dynamic as it is.
Exactly. Yeah. I find it's an opportunity in no matter which client I'm working with, I find it's an opportunity to enhance a woman's power and give them more of a voice or a platform.
Well, I think all the work at my office is done by women. All the tough stuff is done by the women, and then we have equal men and women in sales. So certainly acknowledge that. Let's talk about this award you recently got, the LANFA.
LANFA.
I was going to say LANFA Award presented to Honoree Denise O'Brien, Humanitarian Award.
I'm glad they spelled my name right, Denise O'Brien. The Los Angeles Nollywood Film Association.
That's what it is.
Is what LANFA stands for, and it was an honor and a privilege to receive the award, and it actually coincided with my birthday. So we had a very, very exciting birthday celebration, and I was honored to be able to dedicate the award to my father. You know, my father is 81 years old, and he's not getting any younger, and I'm so grateful that he was able to be there to walk the red carpet with me, to be in all the photos, and also to have the opportunity to see me being honored for something he taught me a long time ago, and that's just to give back to others. Both my parents, of course.
Yes, if you have gratitude and love, you're going to be all right.
That's right. That's right.
Those two things. We're going to jump to a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about the Women's Economic Forum.
Sounds good.
India and some of the wisdom you bring back from that.
That sounds great.
Well, you've been listening to the Valley Industry Association Business Spotlight with Denise O'Brien and Fred Arnold on AM 1220 KHTS. Morning, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Host Fred Arnold on the Valley Industry Association Business Spotlight. I'm joined by my good friend Denise O'Brien. Denise O'Brien's the CEO of Dome Entertainment and Consulting, red carpet host, publicist. Right? Yes. International keynote speaker and humanitarian. I want to talk about your Women's Economic Forum in India.
That was very exciting, yes. It was an opportunity for me. I was actually inducted into the All Ladies League, which is a big deal. I didn't really understand what it was when I was offered, and it turned out that the founder of the organization, Vinay Rai, has a number of philanthropic efforts in India, many of which are universities for women. And he reached out to me through my involvement with my own nonprofit, Wings of Love International, looking for women to attend his universities. And after he read my bio, he said, hey, we would love to have you come to India to speak at our first ever Women's Economic Forum. So it's called WEF, W-E-F, Women's Economic Forum. I had the opportunity to be there with over 300 of the foremost thought leaders around the world that are women, and it was a big honor. Now, you were with
one or two people that were on my show before.
I was with a number of my clients and friends that went with us. Yes, it was a very, very exciting opportunity to have Americans mix in with, obviously Indians and many, there are Moroccans, people from Spain, Africa, all over the world. And the good news was everybody spoke English, and everybody wore their own outfits from their own country. I bought a few saris when I was there for
I saw some pictures on Facebook.
Yes, that was very fun. But most importantly, it was an opportunity for women to come together to, it's kind of a social club for women to go beyond their own borders and boundaries. So I connected with a lot of women that have similar passions and missions to what I'm doing in the world, and they're doing it in other countries. And they're looking for other women to partner with. And so being that I'm from Los Angeles, it was a great opportunity for them to find out who I am and for me to be able to share my classes when I was there as well.
So you go to India for 3 weeks as a lady. What were the cultural differences there that you really had to learn, or that you really liked, or you thought were still maybe not up to?
Well, that's a really good question, because when we were there, what was interesting was we were literally whisked by limousine in 5-star class right from the hotel right to the event. I had the opportunity to stay in Puttaparthi prior to my trip to the actual forum so that I could rest. I had heard that you need a few days to kind of relax and be ready for your speech. So I spent a few days relaxing and learning about the culture. And I can't even begin to tell you the differences because they're so vast. And one of the most important ones I found was in terms of the community that's there, you see mostly men. you see mostly men, and the women are in more subservient roles, and that's very obvious when you walk down the street and you see women, beggars on the street. You see all shapes and sizes, but the women are selling bananas, they're selling fruit, and then you go into the ashram or to the prayerful places that are there, and there are many, and you see mostly men. And so it's very interesting to see the difference in terms of even worship. They even had, this was a shock, and I don't know if you've been traveling to India, they have separate lines to check in at the airport. The men have to go through customs and through security in their own separate section, and the women in a completely other section. I mean, literally, if you're a family, and I saw it happen with tears in my eyes, there was a husband and wife with 3 or 4 children, and the men and the boys had to go through one line, and the little girls and the mom had to struggle through the other, and she was carrying like 4 kids. She had all by herself, and her husband was trying to instruct from the other side of the border. I mean, it was craziness. I just don't understand. But that was at the airport, and then it carried on throughout, separate bathrooms, there's so many separations over there. It's unbelievable. Yeah. You can't imagine that in society today that it's like that. It really is.
And so this economic forum was probably empowering for these women to be associated, be around women from, let's say, Western
very empowered. Yeah. One of the most touching moments I had, Fred, was the opportunity to host a panel. And the title of the panel was put together by the founder, Dr. Harbeen Arora, of the Women's Economic Forum. And she's one of the most eloquent speakers I've ever met in my life. And she wanted me to host a panel on Can Women Really Have It All, which all being the All Ladies League, which is the name of her organization. So I put together this panel, and they were speakers from the U.S., some of whom you've met, and we talked about this topic. We actually debated the topic for over an hour into an international audience, and afterwards we did a question and answer, and of course we asked if we had swayed the audience one way or the other with our debate. And what I found afterwards were the women that got up with the microphone, and they were wearing their saris and all their different, shrouds, different, some women were there with security guards, bodyguards, people from their country. They were keeping an eye on who they were talking to and what they were doing at all times, if you can imagine that. We would be on the bus, and I would be sitting next to a woman who wasn't able to really talk, and she wasn't able to really say much. And then I found out why, because there was somebody sitting right there that said, I have to watch her every move. But I found that the questions were so interesting to them that they would say things like, you're 20, 25 years ahead of us. We want to be like you. We can't believe what you're sharing and what your life is like and what you just told us about Can Women Really Have It All, because we're so far behind. How can we catch up with you?
Yeah. And I think that's a matter of the culture becoming conscious.
Right.
Becoming conscious of the situation, and also there being somebody that's maybe in a position of power that embraces that.
Right.
I mean, it starts from the top. It also becomes a conscious as a society. I think we become conscious as a society of human rights. I think we become conscious as a society on equality for women, right. for all of it. And we've come a long ways. We still have a long ways to go. But, boy, it's about consciousness, isn't it?
That's right. Once they know what they don't know, they can't go back to not knowing what they don't know, and it gives them an opportunity. With the internet now, with YouTube, with education, there's so many opportunities to educate these women and empower them, starting at a young age.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the classes you taught?
Well, my favorite class was How to Be Your Own Best Publicist, which is here I am. This is what I'm doing, and yes. What I love, to empower and educate anybody to tell their own story in a creative way. I also taught a class, co-taught a class on cross-cultural communication. Again, teaching people that there are different ways, and everybody's way is okay, and to cross the bridge and to be able to look at somebody else's way of communicating as being different, being substantive, and give them an opportunity to learn each other's way. And then again, I did the class on this very important workshop, which I found to be pivotal in my own life, which was the opportunity to talk about Can Women Really Have It All in a foreign country, where we feel in America that we can have it all, and women in other countries really feel that they can never reach that goal. Yeah.
We're going to jump to a quick break, but the first question I'm going to ask when we get back is your perception in here in the United States or in California, Southern California, whether women can have it all here, and your thoughts on it, because there are some women don't believe that. Listen, Denise O'Brien and Fred Arnold on AM 1220 KHTS. Good afternoon, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Host Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce and via Business Spotlight. I'm joined by Denise O'Brien, CEO of Dome Entertainment and Consulting, Denise, I want to speak with you about, in the last segment we have, empowered women, empowerment in women. You went to India.
Yes.
You were able to share that experience. I want to talk about your experience here in Southern California and your experience over the last several decades of being able to have it all in your perceptions and where you see we have it all and where we see we could make more progress with empowering women.
Well, having it all, what ended up happening when we were in India at the end of that special segment that we did there, we ended up redefining the question. And the reason why is because what does all mean? That's really the question. For some people, all means, having success in their personal life. Some feel success in their business life. Having it all can mean having a lot of money. Or, I tell my kids, some people spend their money on cars, some spend it on homes, some spend it on clothes, some spend it on trips. Everybody has a different version of can you have it all. So in the general sense of the word all, to me, it means being able to have a balanced life in different areas. And even the word balance can become imbalanced at times, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm a single mom. And what I love about my life is that I do have it all because I can either totally be with my family, totally be with my clients, totally be with my business. And when I say family, that includes my extended family because I am dealing with my father who has Alzheimer's and spending as much time as I can with him while he can still remember my name.
Right,
and that's a big challenge.
So is it almost in the United States, is it somewhat of a mindset or you defining what that all is as a lady?
Well,
or even as a gentleman.
I'm smiling because you're saying Southern California, because Southern California has such a different, quotes, reputation than the rest of the world. And what we do, even in me driving an hour and a half to come here to your radio show today, just the difference from where I came from, where I live near the beach, all the way to Santa Clarita, it's a completely different lifestyle. So the choice of having it all depends on our preferences. And for most women, I think they don't quite know what they want, so they keep changing their mind. Whereas I was raised in a home where my parents encouraged me to have it all from a very young age, meaning that I had my own, paper out when I was 10 years old. I had a babysitting service where I had multiple siblings, under me when I couldn't take a job, So I was an entrepreneur at a very young age. Both my parents were very hardworking and had strong work ethics. My mother was a nurse. My father was a contractor. He owned his own business and worked 20 hours a day, but he never missed one of my softball games, my soccer games, or any of my siblings, many performing events. And so to me, that's having it all.
That might be having it all for him.
Right.
And for someone else might be different.
Exactly. Some people want to turn it off at 5 o'clock and they want to go home and watch TV or do what they do. I don't even watch TV. I rarely even turn on a TV because I'm always out there working and finding other ways to support, my own personal growth and how I can serve others.
Yeah. Mention something real quick. Serving others, all we kind of need is what? Love and gratitude? And we can,
love and gratitude.
We can put ourselves in a pretty good place, can't we?
Yes, and we can give people hope too, because I think there's a lot of people that have love, but they don't see hope. And if you can't give them hope, then they don't have anything to look forward to.
And once they have hope, possibly that breathes inspiration in them to make a change.
Exactly, and to be creative about it too. So whether you're in India, Africa, the United States, or anywhere in the world, if you truly believe that you can have something else in your life and you see that there's an opportunity, it's just like the American dream when people came from, my ancestors came from Ireland. And why did they come to the United States? Because they saw hope and they saw an opportunity where they could make a difference in the lives of themselves and the legacy for their children.
And that's the key. That's the key. Denise, those that want to reach out to you?
Denise O'Brien, DENISE O''BRIEN. You can find me on any social media platform, and my favorite is Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yeah, it is. Look on Facebook. Everything you want to see socially and business-wise that you're doing.
That's right.
Got to see your trips to India, all your, so always good to see you.
It's great to be invited back. Thank you so much, Fred.
You're always welcome back, Denise.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, Denise O'Brien, CEO of Dome Entertainment and Consulting, publicist, international speaker, humanitarian, carpet host. You can do it all.
Yes, any color carpet.
Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Valley Industry Association Business Spotlight on AM 1220 KHTS.